Hello everyone, welcome back to rFactor 2, where today I'm trying out the newest series on low fuel motorsport. It's the Open Wheel Challenge, featuring these F3 cars. Now this series is perfect for those of you who, like me, don't own any DLC packs in rFactor 2, because it's going to run using base content and free mods only. That means anyone can race. This week's round comes from Hockenheim, one of my favourite circuits, so I came into this with high hopes. However, those hopes were soon dashed when I saw how quick everyone was in practice and qualifying. There are only 3 drivers behind me on the grid. 2 of those didn't even put a lap time in, and one of them, Javier Soto, has an ELO rating of nearly 3,000, so we can expect to see Soto charge past before very long. Right, we're almost ready to go, so let's get down to the grid and see how we get on in LFM's newest Open Wheel Challenge. Oh no, I think it's safe to say that my career in this new series has not got off to a flying start. That was an absolutely disastrous getaway. I completely misjudged the amount of revs I needed, and I was bogged down in first gear for what seemed like an age. We're already dead last. I said before the start of the race that we should expect to see Javier Soto charge past me before too long, but I wasn't expecting to see him go past quite that quickly. He was well past me before I'd even had the chance to shift up to second gear. Dear me, I'm actually quite concerned now that this could get embarrassing. I'm 21st out of 21 cars on track, and I'm struggling to keep up with the pack in front. In my defence, I'm one of the lowest rated drivers in this top split, so it was never going to be easy, but I was hoping that I'd have the pace to at least challenge for a top 15. At the moment, that's looking a long way off, but all I can do is try as hard as I can to stick with these drivers in front, iRacing and Dom Whitesnake. And in other sims, Hockenheim is usually a happy hunting ground for me, but this is a real eye-opener. Yellow flags are out as we come into Mercedes. Have we lost someone? We've lost more than someone. There is a big wreck coming into this left-hander. Cars everywhere, rejoining from all angles. I think I need to leave a bit more space on the inside. Oh, even leaving that extra space, I still needed to make a last gasp adjustment to stop Repin running into us. That was really close. There's a car running out into the gravel on the left. That was Gabriel Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi was one of the drivers involved in that big shunt at Mercedes. I suspect he might have picked up damage. And the same could also be applicable to Javi Garo. We saw him just rejoining on the right there. So we've gained a couple of positions at long last. We're up from 21st to 19th. Oh, and another coming together right in front of us. There's a car across track, and once again we have to make a last-ditch adjustment to avoid getting taken out. Well, because of that chaotic first lap, we ended up climbing from 21st to 17th. Now let's take another look at the first instant into Mercedes. We're watching Gabriel Lenarduzzi run into the back of Javi Garo, and then all hell breaks loose. There are cars ploughing in. We took it really easy as we see Lenarduzzi try to rejoin with no front wing. Let's take another look on board with Alexandre Ferreira. He got the best view of this. He managed to find a way through the gap in between those 2 cars and get through safely. Not many other people did get through safely. We saw Lenarduzzi rejoin without his front wing. That was never going to end well. When he got to the Mobile 1 curve, he couldn't turn in and he ended up in the gravel. Javi Garo was also damaged in that Mercedes incident. When he got to the next corner, he too wasn't able to turn and ended up in the sand. And another driver who picked up damage was Ramon Clement, and it looked like at the final turn he suddenly decided to try and go for pit lane. As he swerves, he gets clobbered from behind by iRacing, and then Clement comes back on track. We narrowly avoid him. Halfway through lap 2 now, and a massive gap has opened up behind us. iRacing in 18th is now nearly 10 seconds adrift, so I've got no pressure at all in my rearview mirror. I can fully focus on trying to catch Dom Whitesnake in 16th. I thought that I'd be able to reel Whitesnake in because he was the only driver who posted a slower lap time than I did in qualifying, but it's proving more difficult than I'd hoped at the moment as the yellow flags come out in the stadium section. There's debris on the track, there's a car in the dirt, and it's Javier Soto. Soto started behind us. He was the highly rated driver that I'd mentioned. He was clearly charging through the pack, but something has gone terribly wrong for Javier Soto there. That's promoted us up to 16th, and that is a big rating out of this race. That's going to help my ELO no end. But as we start lap 3, we're just 0.5 of a second behind Whitesnake. Alex Ferreira right in front of him, and we've lost Ferreira. Ferreira's stacked it into T1, and I think Whitesnake might have had to lift to avoid going with him because he's down on speed. That's enabled us to pull alongside him. We're going to have the inside line into this turn 2. We're going to make the pass stick, and that pushes us up to 14th now. So let's check the replay to see what gave us these positions, and it's a battle between Alex Ferreira and Javier Soto. Look at both of them going out onto the gravel. That's Ferreira in front, Soto behind, and Soto runs into the back of Ferreira. Another car gets tangled up in it too, and that explains why Ferreira was so out of control in T1 at the start of the next lap. He's lost his rear wing completely there. A big mess in this stadium section. Ferreira tries to rejoin. Now really, he probably should have gone into the pits for repairs. That car's almost undrivable. Look how hard he's having to work just to keep it facing in the right direction. Ultimately, he couldn't keep it facing in the right direction. This was turn 1 where he slid out. And that gave me the opportunity to move up the inside and take 14th position. We get by Whitesnake. Here I go again on my own. Don't worry, that's the one and only Whitesnake pun I'll use in this video, but it was a very apt one because for the next few laps I really was on my own. Whitesnake now 18 seconds behind, and there's a 6-second gap to the nearest driver in front. Now I didn't even see another car until the end of the 9th lap when this back marker made a mess of things going through the Mobil 1 curve and rejoined in front of me. Given the carnage that we've seen caused by guys trying to drive damaged cars, I was a bit hesitant about getting past this back marker. In the end, there's space to make the move up the inside and get past him safely, and as we see in the rear view mirror, he stacked it, so we might have got a little bit lucky there. And yeah, we were right to be cautious because the replay shows that this back marker was also trying to drive the car without a front wing. He decides to go into the pits for repairs. Oh no, he goes right into the tyre wall. Oh, sorry, I know I shouldn't laugh at other drivers' misfortunes, but that was funny. Well, as the race went on, it didn't get any less lonely for me. I'm still out there on my own. However, at the end of lap 11, we're going to pick up another position. Raymond van Soest is in the pits for a drive-through penalty. So as I go around turn 1, I'm suddenly up to 13th. Yeah, Van Soest qualified second on the grid. That's me just going past him at the bottom of the screen, and if I can stay in front of him, that's another big rating behind me. So let's see what we can do. We're fast forward into the penultimate lap now. Van Soest is still 7 seconds behind me, so I'm looking comfortable at the moment in this 13th position. However, we know that Van Soest is a good few seconds a lap quicker, so it's not over yet. I need to keep it clean over this final lap and a bit, and we're actually going to gain another position because the yellow flags are out, and that's Marco Santoni. Yeah, it looks like Santoni was struggling with engine problems for a good few laps before it finally gave up the ghost. Plumes of smoke coming out of that F3 car, and he's also really ragged. Look at this through the final turn a couple of laps ago. But yeah, on the penultimate lap, it finally gave up the ghost. I don't know whether he's run out of fuel or whether it is engine damage that has caused him to retire, but this is another big rating who's not going to finish the race. Santoni has a rating of 2.2k. 2 corners from home now, and it looks like we've just about done enough to hold on to this 12th place. Van Soest has closed the gap quite considerably. He's within 2 seconds, but he's not close enough. We're going to cross the line and take 12th position. And okay, I know that I wasn't at all competitive in this race, but looking back to the first lap when we were dead last in 21st position, I've got to be happy to bring it home in 12th. Here are the classified results then. And my fastest lap in the race was a 1:35.9, so marginally quicker than the time I posted in qualifying, but still nowhere near fast enough to be competitive in this top split on LFM. So a lot more practice needed in this car, I think. However, it is great fun to drive, and I'm really looking forward to doing a few more races in it. Meanwhile, if you want to check out my escapades in low fuel motorsports, other free rFactor 2 series, check out the video on screen now. The Alpine Cup is so much fun to race in. I really recommend it if you've got rF2. But that's it from Hockenheim for me. I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Thanks ever so much for tuning in, and I'll see you back on the grid again very soon. Cheers for now.